So for this week's reflective journal, um, I wanted to do a video. I started to write something a couple of different times and was just really struggling to put into words what my thoughts were about this hymn. I read the hymn a couple of times and it really just broke my heart in a million pieces. I felt like I could not only feel Amanda's pain, but also um, it sort of recreated some pain for me as well, um, in several different circumstances where I feel like, though I haven't been through a school shooting or anything like that, I have been through some pretty horrific things. And when she says everything hurts, I just felt that on a really deep level. And so for the questions this week, I think the first question was, sorry, um, how can you make a difference? And I think one of the biggest ways that we can make a difference is to listen and acknowledge and support. Um, Listening to Amanda's pain helped me to feel like I could acknowledge what she was going through and what she was looking for by writing this. Um, it's important for us to not criticize, not justify, not even really have an opinion sometimes when clients come to us and um, want to show us something like this. It's important for us to just be supportive, to try to understand where they're coming from and to meet them where they're at and to say, I hear you and I hear what you're saying here. Um, the next question was, how can we help our clients of any age to advocate for their opinions and desires to those that are policymakers? Well, I did my previous internship at the National Association of Social Workers, and I've had the pleasure of learning the insight of how some of that policy making works. And what I would have to say is to reach out to people like NASW and others who can help you advocate. Um, One voice can be really strong, but it's also important to use that voice to reach other voices, and many voices can be even stronger. And so I think what I would do to help my clients is encourage them to write to their legislature and dive into working on different policies and making change, because change is possible. And it's important for them to know that. It's important for them to know that things don't always have to be the same, that things can change. And do I expect change anytime soon? How I feel about um, crisis with gun violence in schools right now is that there will not be any positive change anytime soon. And the reason that I feel that way is because um, there is a strong lack of acknowledgement of the direct relation of mental health and behavioral health issues to violence and especially gun violence. And in my opinion, there's a difference between mental health issues and behavioral health issues, and a lot of times, instead of addressing behaviors and understanding that those behaviors can change with help and support, we say, well, that person just has a mental health issue and that's how they are, when that's not the case. Behaviors are developed and behaviors can change. And once we see these behaviors, it's important to acknowledge them and recognize them and do something about them. Not just chalk it up to, oh, my son or daughter, has a mental health issue and they're going to take a medication, or, they're going to see a provider about it. We need real boots on the ground hard-working people to set boundaries and to say, these behaviors are not okay. These behaviors came from somewhere, and these behaviors need to change. And how can we help you do that? We need, more support in schools. I think we need more social workers in schools. I think we need more assessments. We need to really follow the golden thread, right? I mean, we need to check in with kids. We need to check in with their families. We need to figure out what's going on instead of saying it's none of my business or this child just has a mental health issue. Because guess what? That mental health issue is going to turn into a behavior that hurts a lot of people. And so that's how I feel about it. And until we start to recognize that stuff, I don't think we're going to see positive change anytime soon. I think we're going to continue to see violence in schools, and we're going to continue to see a lot of hurting and a lot of pain. Um, and yeah, so that's those are my reflective thoughts on this hymn.